All right, it is a few days after the dirty German. I'm still sore, I'm still achy, my feet are bothering me, but I wanted to pull together everything I remembered from the event to help you prepare for if you're planning to do the dirty German, and just to give you all the logistical details that I recall from the event so you're best set up for success. So I'll pull up a couple things on my screen and just walk you through the general day. So this is what the race organizers shared with us. You could see on the screen, this is the start finish line. We're going to go loop around an aid station and come all the way down here to your second aid station. You have a small loop if you're doing the 50 miler. This is aid station 4, which was a small aid station, which is approximately 1.5 miles away from the starting line. So let me pull up my Coros map and I'll show you what it looked like on there as well. All right, so on the Coros map, let me pull all the way up and give you that same view. So essentially, this line right here is going to be your start-finish line. It's a pavilion. It's where they'll have the medals, where people will basically set up their tents all around here and kind of camping stuff, hang out here, friends and family. But when you are attending the event, so starting time is 7:30 for the 50 miler, 8 o'clock for the 50K, and then 8:30 for the 25K. So what they told us is that this parking lot, which is small, it's gonna be limited to the 25K racers only. So when you arrive, you're gonna park on this road right here, which is Pine Road. Lots of parking. There was a marshal here and basically telling people where they should park, and you can park anywhere along here. I arrived like 6 because bid pickup was 6:30, so I arrived around 6. I had one of these first spots, but by the time the race kicked off, because I had to go back to my car, you could see people were parked all the way down here and then all the way over to here. So less ideal, especially when you're done with the race. You want your car as close as possible. So you walk across here. There was 2 small porta potties here that looked like they were just generally there for all events. And then further down here is where they had a row of porta potties that you can see my loops. This is basically where you could loop as well and head to porta potties right before the start finish line. Starting here at 7:30, they had about 200 or so racers coming out. We all ran through the field that you're seeing, this little mark over here. Ran through the field, coming up. Right when you get to this point here, going back into the woods, there was a gate, and we essentially all went single file all the way through. So this is basically a single file line that we all followed for the first loop, all the way down, around. It was, a lot of single loop action. And then you went underneath. There are a couple of bridge crossings where you go underneath the bridges as well. Basically, you're running single file all the way through. It cleared up a couple miles in, my memory of it. So you're basically coming all the way out through here into the trails, big loop back, really nondescript. I mean, you're running along some bodies of water, which was kind of nice. And when you got over to here, this was the big aid stations. This served as aid station 1 and 3. And I'll show you a video what that looked like.
A little surprise at mile 12. What do we got? Cranking.
So when you're coming in the first lap, it was set up as an aid station. When I was coming back, as it's serving as aid station number 3. So you're kind of doing this little down, stopping here, going all the way down here, which we're talking about aid station 2. And you're coming all the way back for aid station 3 here. And then aid station 4 is right around, I think it's right around here is aid station number 4. And as you're coming back out, so aid station 1, you're coming back through, you're going underneath a couple bridges here, graffiti under the bridge. There were a couple tents, so people were staying at 1 or 2 of these bridges. I did see tents where people staying underneath it, but it was safe. There's a lot of runners out there. A lot of people were just even out here fishing, and some people were hiking and some people were walking. Same, just kind of nondescript, running through the woods, back and forth. Bridge, you're going underneath. You're staying underneath the bridges primarily for the entire time. There is a section where you are coming above the bridge. So you're leaving aid station 1 here, you're kind of coming in, you're taking this path back out, following it back into the woods, underneath another bridge, staying on this side this time. And all the way through down underneath another bridge. On this side of the water, you're staying. And eventually, this is the only part you're really doing any, kind of quote unquote road running. So you're going to go down and then up a little hill, flipping onto a road. And they had some cones set up, but it was pretty safe. You're kind of getting onto a sidewalk here, which had enough space. And then you're quickly turning into this little, which you can't really see it here, but essentially like a little running path getting into the park. And right here was aid station number 2.
Bacon, grilled cheese, cream red jelly, chips, potatoes, pickles, all types of goodness. This is aid station 7.5 or so. Filled up some water and more scratch, and
then there was some spectators and support crew parked along here, other families, and then you're back into the park again and going back out for that last loop back into the start finish line. So you're staying on this side of the river this time, or the creek, all the way up, a little down and back. And this is a modification of what they sent pre-race because there were some changes to the course. And I did hear from some of the racers that they weren't getting 50 miles. I noticed that as well for myself. I even got turned around in the woods and I did an extra little loop, but even at the finish line, I ran a little more because the distance that makes sense. And here is the 50-mile mini loop. So the 50K and 25K participants did not take this. There was someone sitting right here and directing 50 milers out here, 50K, 25K were running here. You could see towards the end of the race, I got turned around. I did this loop twice because I wasn't paying attention. I just looped myself back in again. So you're coming in and out, you're doing a quick little loop around, and then you're coming last aid station closer to here. I was told that the last aid station is basically 1.5 miles to the finish line. So I looked at my watch and I was nowhere near going to make 50 miles. So I did a quick down and back up. Be a purist for the 50 miles. So coming back in, you loop. When you start coming over to here-ish, I remember hearing, you could hear the bells ringing because it's not too far of a distance. You could kind of see you're capturing from the pavilion to the outside of the track. So you're hearing people finish, you're hearing the bell going. When you get up to here, this last little loop, you'll start to see the cars parked on the street again. And that's basically 50 miles in a nutshell. We did 3 loops of this, down, back, and around. There was a couple creek crossings. I think it was right around, you can see there was a couple, maybe it was right around here. You can see we did a creek crossing here. And I did keep my feet dry. I think it was we did 6 totals, maybe 3 out, 3 back over again. So that's something to be conscientious of. I know some people got into the water pretty quickly during that first loop, which obviously would be kind of frustrating if you're doing that and you have a long ways to run. You don't want to have wet feet the entire time. So you have to watch out for that. They were manageable. There was rocks there, but it was definitely something to be conscientious of as you're running your race. I hope that helps you prepare for the Dirty German when you take it on.